Okay, hello, what's up, guys? My name is Saalino Tiurma, and my student number is 2005 0860079, and I'm from C class of 2020 English Department of Mulawarman University. So now I'd like to explain about language, dialect, and varieties. So here we go. So this is the table of content that I want to explain. So the first one is the difference between a language and a dialect. Second is defining a standard language. And the third, development of ethnic dialect. And the last is varieties. Okay, so the first one is the difference between a language and a dialect. So Hagen, 1960, 66 has pointed out that language and dialect are ambiguous terms, although ordinary people use these terms quite freely in speech. For them, a dialect is almost certainly no more than a local non-prestigious or therefore powerless variety of a real language. And then, uh, this is how to sociolinguistic define the difference between a dialect and a language. So the first one is need to look at the history of these terms. Second is situation in which there is a dialect continuum make it apparent that the lines drawn between languages are not based on linguistic criteria. The third is problem with using mutual intelligibility as the criterion for status as a dialect or a language is that even without a dialect continuum, there are many examples of named distinct languages that are mutually intelligible. And then the last is mutual intelligibility cannot be used as the sole means uh, is the distinguistic dialect versus language status is that there are sometimes unintelligible dialects which are identified by their speakers as being the same language. Okay, next. The second material is about defining a standard of languages. So standardization, talk about standardization, it refers to the process by which a language has been uh, codified in some way. So this is the Haugen. Haugen said that speakers of English have never seriously adopted a choice as a term to be used in the descriptions of language. They have tried to employ both language and dialect in a number of conflicting senses. Okay, next. Okay, next is standardization is also an ongoing matter for only that languages like Latin and classical Greek do not continue to change and develop. The standardization process is necessarily an ongoing one for living languages. So the standardization process is also obviously one that attempts either to reduce or to eliminate diversity and variety. Note that these definitions revolve around how it used, not the particular features of the language, as a standard English is constantly changing and developing. And Shortgill also point out that the standard is not the same as formal language, as the standard can also be used colloquially. See below for discussions of formal and informal style. Okay. So the third, I want to talk about development of ethnic dialect. So-called ethnic dialect do not arise because members of a particular ethnic groups are somehow destined to speak in certain ways. Like all other social dialects, ethnic dialects are learned by exposure, and anyone, regardless of their ethnic identification or racial categorizations. So Jesper, 2008, also addresses some of the ideological issues at stake in the study of ethnic dialect. So he addresses that the practice of naming particular ways of speaking as ethnolects, pointing out that that it is indicative of the ideological positions of the sociolinguistic doing the research themselves. And then labeling and describing a particular way of speaking as an ethnic dialect implies a certain homogeneity about the variety and its speakers, and it infinitely also praises the dialect and the group who speaks it outside the mainstream. Okay. The last material is about varieties defined according to their forms and functions, styles, registers, and genres. Okay, so the study of dialects is further complicated by the fact that speakers can adopt different styles and registers of speaking, and both of spoken and written language can be seen as belonging to different genres of language. So while differences in dialect have to do with speakers and the regional or social identities, styles, registers, and genres have to do with different contexts of use. So style, register, and genre differences are largely independent. You can talk casually about mountains, climbing in a local variety of a language, or you can write a formal technical study of winemaking. So, however, speakers have clear ideas about which ways of speaking are considered appropriate for a particular speech, even or school context. So, I think that's all my explanation about this material. So I hope it can be you can you can understand what I said, what I explained. So I'm sorry for my mistake. Thank you. Bye.